Any health-related information on the following show provides general information only. Content presented on any show by any host or guest should not be substituted for a doctor's advice. Always consult your physician before beginning any new diet, exercise, or treatment program.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Inspired and Empowered Living TV show and podcast. Are you ready to live an inspired and empowered life? Today, we will be talking about the power of emotions. As human beings, we all have emotions. Some we may not want to feel, and others we long for. Today, discover how important and powerful emotions are and why the more we feel, the more alive and joyful we become. Learn how emotions are keys to you creating what you want and living an inspired and empowered life. We are live Tuesdays at 11 a.m. Eastern on W4WN.com, Talk4TV.com, and my YouTube channel. And I'm your host, Nancy Deutsch, licensed clinical social worker, certified hypnotherapist, and intuitive breakthrough expert. I combine my counseling, coaching, and intuitive abilities to help you transform your life. And this show is not a replacement for therapy or counseling. It is for educational purposes only. So I want to welcome you, whether you're listening live or viewing live, or you're listening or viewing at a later time. And bottom line is, I have a motto, and my motto is, in order to heal, we need to feel. So what do I mean by that? What I mean is that, like I said in the intro, we all have emotions. And what happens is very often we may end up getting stuck in emotions like fear, anger, grief, shame, guilt. And those emotions are emotions that we need to heal in order for us to feel the emotions of our soul. And those emotions are joy, love, and peace. And I see we have Allie. Good morning, Allie. And so what I was saying is that we need to let go of those other emotions, the fear, the anger, grief, shame, guilt, in order for us to really come more into the soul emotions, the emotions of what we long for, the joy, the peace, the love. Those are emotions that we all want. However, we cannot get and feel the emotions of joy and peace and love if we're clogged up literally with the emotions, those other emotions. And in order to move through, in order to allow yourself to feel and to move and to allow the joy and the peace and the love to come through, it's important to feel the other emotions. So How do you do that? That's what we're going to be talking about more today, is what does that mean and how do you do it, and really allowing yourself to manifest the life you want, because living an inspired and empowered life is feeling that love, the joy, the peace. That's what an inspired and empowered life is all about. And I understand, because I feel more and more that I feel more grateful. Grateful is also an emotion of that higher energy, higher vibration. And that energy is also an energy that you want to bring forth more in your life. And I am so grateful for my life now. I'm grateful that I'm doing this show. I'm grateful for all the people that I have in my life to support me. I am grateful for my gifts and being able to work with individuals and work with groups of women to help transform their lives, their businesses, their work, and to really be able to tap into my intuition. I am able to see and hear and feel and know, and I get the intuitive hits all the time. But it wasn't always that way. For many years, when I was young, I suffered a lot of trauma from abuse, from physical, emotional, and sexual abuse. And what happened for me is that I had been able to transform those emotions so that I can then and now be more filled with joy and love and peace. And for many years, I suffered with post-traumatic stress disorder, anxiety, depression. And then one day, what happened was I went to be with a friend. We were doing an exchange where we would help each other get connected with our emotions and do what we called emotional release work. And when I walked into her office, it was this beautiful, bright, sunny day. And she told me about this training program that I could enroll in, where I would learn to heal other people's trauma and I would learn to heal my own. And what happened was, when I heard that, my whole body went into this knowing, this feeling. Yes, this is what I need. Because I was stuck in those old emotions that kept me feeling not good enough, not worthy, not deserving. And so I knew, for me to continue to work. And so I enrolled in that training. And since that time, I've done so many other certifications and trainings. But the reason why I'm telling you is you can have an inspired and empowered life too. And it takes work. It's a journey. I have worked really hard on facing emotions that I didn't want to face. Depths of despair, of pain, of hurt, of shame, of guilt, of fear. I used to wake up in the fear. And I had so much fear running through my body. And now I wake up, and even though I may not want to get out of bed, I'm in a totally different place. And then what the most important thing is, and that this is what I want to support you in doing, is finding a way to start your day in a positive way. And that positive way is being able to connect more to the higher aspects of self, that you connect with and meditate. Maybe that's meditation, maybe it's prayer, maybe it's writing. All of those are tools to connect more deeply to you. And what I support all of you in doing is making a plan. Now, you can change the plan, because some days you may want to wake up and meditate. Some days you may need to exercise. Some days you may need to write. So it's being able to follow your intuition to what's going to serve you best in that moment. But I talk about doing clearing work. You want to clear your energy for the day, so you're setting yourself up for a positive day by starting in a positive spiritual way, or connecting with yourself. And then you want to be able to then feel more connected, so that you're feeling more connected to your soul, to what I call your higher self, this wise, unconditionally loving part of you that's there for the asking. And it's there, and it wants you to connect with it. All you have to do is say, help me connect with you, higher self. And just feeling what you'll know, that you've made the shift when you start feeling differently, when you start feeling more peace. Perhaps you woke up feeling anxiety or fear, like I used to wake up with that. And then when you meditate or pray, what's happening is you're getting into a space of alignment. You're connecting more deeply to the higher aspects of you. And it is through those higher aspects that you are able to then, as you connect more deeply to you, you start to feel those positive, healing, loving, joyful emotions. And so what if, and I have many clients that say, I have a trouble connecting. I don't know how to do that. If I'm in fear or anxiety, or if I'm feeling disconnected, what do I do? How do I do that? And so what you do is, you want to be able to find a way to first come back into your body and come back into present time. So what do I mean by that? When you're in present time, you are able to connect with your awareness, the surroundings, what's going on right here, right now. If you're in anxiety, depression, or you're having an emotion and something is not stimulating or happening to you in the moment, then you're reacting from something that has happened. And the more intense the emotion, the more it's a signal that it's the past. So let me start with my quick Psych 101 lesson. My Psych 101 lesson is, you want to be able to come from your conscious mind. Your conscious mind is you tuning in to me right now. Your conscious mind is you being able to experience and make decisions from present time. So it could be your logical mind. It could be the part of you that's saying, I am choosing this, and making it very clear. When you make a decision from that place, that is how you become more inspired and empowered. And you want to be in that place of making the decision coming from your conscious mind. However, a lot of reactions are coming from the subconscious mind. In fact, all reactions are coming from your subconscious mind if it's not happening in the moment. And so every moment that you have been alive, every moment from the time of conception to present time, including your ancestors and your ancestral trauma and past lives, are all in your subconscious mind that can be affecting you now. And so when you have a reaction from your subconscious mind, it's learning how to shift it and change it. So then you're going and you're able to connect with your conscious mind and make it a conscious, present decision. And that is when you are able to respond. So let me give you an example of that. Samantha was having a connection. She was having a conversation with her friend Dawn. And all of a sudden, Dawn said something in a certain tone of voice. And Samantha reacted, and she got really angry. And in the past, Samantha would have started screaming or yelling or reacting in perhaps an unhealthy way. And then what happened is, as we worked together, Samantha was able to learn how to respond. And what she did was she learned awareness. Step one, awareness. She became aware that she was having a reaction. And she made a conscious decision not to react in that present moment to her friend Dawn, because she knew that if she reacted, she would have said or done something she later regretted. And so she made a conscious choice. She responded, took a breath, responded, and said to Dawn, "Excuse me, I need a few minutes." She took herself to the bathroom because they went out to dinner, and she calmed herself down in the bathroom, doing some deep breathing, letting herself know that she would explore what was triggered later. And by the way, what was triggered was her mother issues. Because Dawn, when she spoke in that tone of voice, it triggered with the reaction her mother. and what her mother used to do was talk in a tone of voice, can be condescending, or sometimes she would be screaming at her or yelling at her or having this really not nice, mean tone of voice. And so Samantha decided, she made the decision to take a time out. That's what I coach people to do. If you notice you're having a reaction, and whether it's anger, or sometimes people can be intimidators and they may trigger fear, or maybe someone tries to shame you or blame you or dump on you. And you can feel yourself reacting in an unhealthy way because instead of setting a boundary, because setting a boundary is really healthy. It's what needs to be done. But you may not be able to do that in the moment. It's about learning how to do that, healing the old issues so that you don't get triggered or react, and then coming back to the person and setting the boundary. But if you can't do that, take the time out, because you may not even be aware of what you want to say and have a healthy conversation until you process it through. And that's what Samantha did. What she would do is when she would get triggered and react to Dawn or other people, she'd bring it into the counseling. And then we would talk about it and shift it. And then I coached her, and I started helping her to become more connected with who she really is. And then she was able to respond. So the way that I define the difference between reaction and response is reaction is coming from your subconscious mind. It's your trigger. It's what happens. It's like an instinctual, immediate reaction. You get triggered. Responding from your conscious mind, making a conscious decision, is really important. And what happens when you make that conscious decision to respond, you are responding in a healthy way, whether you can express to that person or in that situation or not. It is the beginning. Learning to respond is the beginning of feeling healthier, more alive, more connected, because that's what you want, to live that inspired and empowered life. So that's reaction versus response. Now, if anybody has any questions or comments, definitely put it in the chat. And so reaction, response. And then, and really the other part that I really want to support you in learning how to connect more deeply, and I talked about this a little, is your superconscious mind. And the way that I define your superconscious mind is the part of you that is that higher aspects of self, your higher self, that wise, unconditionally loving part of you. When I work with clients in my coaching programs, what I'm doing is I'm helping them connect more deeply to their higher self, that wise, unconditionally loving part of them, so that they can then make decisions, take inspired action, set limits and boundaries from their higher self. And then you also want to become more connected with your soul. And your soul is this core energy essence of what you are, the pure light, the pure love, And so when I say that you have the feelings, the emotions of the peace, the love, and the joy, that's your soul. That's you, who you are. And the way that I look at your higher self and your soul is your higher self is that embodiment of your soul in this lifetime. And so both of those aspects are aspects that you want to become more connected with, to feel those emotions of love and peace and joy and gratitude. Those are the emotions of an inspired and empowered life. And learning how to become aware of what is happening for you, become aware of all the different emotions that you may be having. And what's really interesting, I studied with a mentor, John Lee, and when I was learning how to do emotional release work, Dan Jones and John Lee created this program called PEER, Primary Energy Emotional Recovery. And I studied with them for many years. And I did a training with people that they've trained. And that work really helped me to become more connected and feel more connected with my emotions, because I lived mostly in my head. Now, I know what it's like to live in your head and to be the thinker. How many of you are the thinkers? Think, 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 think. And your head is spinning and you don't know how to stop it. Learning how to become present, come into your body. That's how to do it. And I want to support you. I created a meditation. It's called the Intuitive Decision Making Meditation. And what that meditation is a meditation where you can connect, clear your energy, connect to your higher self. Ask if there's a decision or a message you would like to hear, and you ask for the message, and then you allow yourself to receive. It's based on the first 3 steps of the Intuition Advantage system. I developed my signature system. And so you can get the intuitive decision-making meditation by going to inspiredandempoweredliving.com. So it's the same name of the TV show or the radio show, inspiredandempoweredliving.com/meditation. And I definitely support you in downloading that meditation, because the meditation can help you on a daily basis connect more deeply to who you are, to the information, your intuition. Your intuition is communication from your higher self, from your soul, from your guides and angels in the universe. And it's there for the asking. So I really support you in downloading the meditation, the Intuitive Decision Making Meditation. And so really what you want to do is coming into awareness of what you are feeling. And one of the best ways to do that is through your body. Because your body gives you clues to what you're feeling. You can't heal or clear a feeling unless you have some kind of awareness that it's even there. Now, a lot of times, if you're feeling fear or anger, it's pretty easy to spot. But sometimes you may not be aware that there's grief. Now, if you recently lost someone, a beloved, then you may be very aware of the grief. But I also want you to know grief happens when there's any kind of loss. Whether you lose a job or you lose a ring or you lose something that had value to you, whether it's a thing or a person, something that you felt connected with. And you may have grief. And sometimes the grief can be a few minutes, and sometimes it's going to be years. And sometimes it's an ongoing process. And there are times I don't put limits to how long you heal through time with grief. And then when you've lost a loved one that was a really significant part of your life, a partner, spouse, child, that grief may never stop, but you transform it into something different. And sometimes you may be aware of guilt. I have a lot of clients that have dealt with Jewish guilt, Catholic guilt. I think guilt is very often parents can guilt you, and then you start noticing that you go, or then a spouse or a partner, because you get attracted to people who continue to guilt. And then there's times where you just take on the guilt. You feel guilty about everything. That guilt needs to be healed. Now, all guilt is some guilt that needs to be let go of. All guilt. However, the healthier guilt is the guilt that if you've hurt somebody or you made a mistake that hurt somebody or did something that you later regret and you have guilt about it, that's your conscience speaking. And that guilt needs to be healed. Very often making amends or atoning in some way to help let go of the guilt is one of the ways, because guilt doesn't serve you. And it's important to let go of the guilt as much as any of the other emotions. And then the other emotion that you may not even recognize is shame. Very often, shame is like this hidden emotion. And it's a hidden emotion that really it's not emotion you want to have with you. It's an emotion that really, really is important, that needs to be released in order for you to move towards an inspired and empowered life and feeling more peace, love, and joy. Because the emotion of shame leads to feelings of not feeling worthy, not feeling of deserving, not feeling good enough. Feeling shame. And a lot of times parents can shame you. For example, if you ever, when you were growing up, and your parent ever said, "Oh, you're such a bad girl," or "You're such a bad boy." Like, instead of talking about the behavior, they just shamed you for something that perhaps you did, and you took that on. Or there may have been other ways that they shamed you. And also, you may have inherited the shame. And shame needs to be healed and released. Very important. And when you've been traumatized, you take on the shame of the abusers. And that needs to be let go and healed. And so all of that are really important pieces to let go of the emotions that are hurting you, that keep you stuck. Because these emotions, I talk about clogging up your energy field. And what I mean by that is, if you can imagine a pipeline to and from the divine, you are that pipeline. Your body is that pipeline. And what happens is that when you have limiting beliefs and emotions, they're like these big hairballs clogging up your pipeline. Clients have called me spiritual Drano because I clear the clogs. I clear your pipeline so that you can then come back into alignment. Because when you clear the energy, when you clear your pipeline, that energy flows. There's an alignment. You feel the peace. You feel the love. You feel joy. You feel and move towards having an inspired and empowered life. You feel alive. You feel the passion. And clearing the energy clogs, clearing the limiting beliefs, clearing the emotions is the way to allow yourself to achieve your dreams, your goals, your vision. And that's what happens when you clear those old emotions so that you can connect more deeply to the truth of who you really are. Your higher self, your soul, the peace, the love, the joy. Yeah, breathe that all in. That's right. Breathe it in. Being able to really connect with that peace, the love, and the joy when you've let go of those old emotions. Emotions that no longer serve you, that are weighing you down and keeping you stuck. And we're going to talk more. So basically today, what we talked about are emotions in general. Talked about the different aspects of self, your conscious mind, your subconscious mind, your superconscious mind. We talked about your being able to learn how to go from a reaction to a response. And next week, we're going to continue talking about the power of emotions. We'll talk about how to work on clearing them more deeply, letting go of those emotions that no longer serve you. So there's a question. Where do we find our passion to clear the emotions? We find the passion to clear the emotions by being able to make that conscious decision, to make the conscious decision that you are going to tap in. Now, if you're feeling anxious and you're feeling depressed, or you're feeling angry, or any of those other emotions, grief, how do you find that passion? I am going to talk more about that on next week's show. So stay tuned. join us.
Still have plenty of time. Sorry, you still have plenty of time.
I know. How do we know we are letting go of the emotions? We're letting go of the emotions. We're letting go of the emotions when you know that you're letting go of the emotions when you are able to express, to feel, to really breathe, let go, move through it. You're able to let go of those emotions. And when you let them go, that's when you can feel the peace, the love, and the joy. And again, we're going to talk more about how to let that go, how to let them go, how to connect with the passion. I'll talk more about being able to connect more deeply to all these aspects of yourself so that then you can definitely be able to really allow yourself to get into that space of the empowered and inspired life that you really want to live. And I will go over those questions that were asked. And we'll be able to really have more of, know that you can have more passion and aliveness and joy and peace and gratitude when you let go of the emotions. And that's why next week we're going to talk more about the letting go process and being able to have that letting go process. And I really want to let you know that it's been really cool to have you here. And we're going to talk more about the power of emotions, part 2, next week. Discover how to connect with the passion, how to let go of the emotions. We're going to talk more about all of that next week. And I really want to support you in having an inspired and empowered day and an inspired and empowered week. And you can find past shows on w4wn.com, talk4tv.com, and my YouTube channel. And the podcasts are on iHeart, Spotify, Pandora, Apple, and more. And I really look forward to connecting with you more next week. Have a great one, everybody. Bye for now.